Man, I was sitting at the cafe the other day.
Yeah.
And there was this old lady that had this creepy ass, like at first I thought it was a child.
Okay.
Like I legit thought it was like a baby.
Right.
And then my girl looks at me and she goes, "You're gonna get a little creeped out. This is right down your alley, but that's a doll." And I was like, I was like, okay. So I had a double take on it, right?
Yeah.
And sure as shit,
You had a doll?
This lady's holding a creepy fucking doll.
So was the lady cuckoo?
Or no, she was cuckoo for sure. Yeah. But that was
Was the doll going to be one of those haunted dolls?
Yep.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of World of Unknown. Guys, it's a special episode. It's our very first special guest. Can everybody say hi to Laura? Laura, welcome to the show.
Welcome.
Obviously, you know Trevor. I am Danny. Guys, we're jumping right into it, and we are doing haunted dolls just in time for Halloween for you guys. And if you're scared, it's too late. You started it. You're going to have to watch it, guys. Let's jump right into it, guys. Obviously, haunted dolls the past few years has been exploding with the ever-famous movie Annabelle, right? The Conjuring.
Annabelle.
Annabelle brings it up. And let's jump into the Annabelle world, guys. What do we know about Annabelle, the haunted doll?
Started in 1977.
Supposedly for the story points are 97. Okay, so let me preface this before we start into this. Most of the story is from the Warrens, Ed and Lorraine Warren, which we will jump into a little bit later and maybe have their own episode. But yes, so it started in 1970s, right? And in the 1970s, supposedly these two nurses, one nurse named, I guess, Donna, her Annabelle was a gift to her, which is very weird because she's a 20-year-old girl, but I guess it's a nostalgia gift. But if you don't know what Annabelle is, and it's not that movie adaptation of that stupid-looking, creepy doll. And Annabelle's actually a Raggedy Ann doll.
Yeah, big-ass Raggedy Ann doll.
Exactly, and I can put, if you guys don't know who Raggedy Ann is, I'll put exactly the picture of Annabelle right here over my face. And you can take a look at her. And to me, the innocent-looking Annabelle, the Raggedy Ann, is a lot more scarier than the doll they used for the movie. I don't know about you guys. I think that thing hits home a little bit more. So anyway, so in 1970s, this nurse Donna was gifted this Annabelle doll, and her roommate, after a while, noticed the doll would move around where they didn't set it. Stuff would be missing. Stuff would go down.
No, they started playing jokes on each other.
Is that what it? Okay.
So what they were doing was they would like take the doll and they would put it in spots,
right?
And they were just messing with each other. And then it got to the point where they both agreed to stop.
Okay.
And then
I didn't read this part of it.
Yeah. So then the doll would do it itself, and then they would like kind of go like, "Did you move it?" And they go, "No, I didn't move it."
So the doll's like, I like this game.
Now the doll started moving around. It liked the attention, right?
Right.
And then they started finding notes on parchment paper.
Which they did not own, right?
They did not own any parchment paper.
What was it say on these notes?
Help me,
which is kind of a weird thing for a haunted or possessed doll to put. So it would be whatever's trapped in it.
Not really, because they want you to think they're innocent. Remember, that's the whole demon thing, right?
So what happened here to make this thing kind of turn on him? Because right now it seemed like innocent and fun, that it enjoyed the game of hide and seek and stuff or whatever.
Yeah, it got to the point where it was getting a little bit crazy.
Right.
So
then it started attacking the boyfriend?
No, not yet. So the nurse had a medium come in.
Okay.
And the medium then told her that the doll was a 4-year-old or 5-year-old girl that got hit by a car right outside her apartment complex.
Like many years ago.
A long time ago, and that was the spirit of the doll.
And the name of the girl was Annabelle Higgins. Am I right? Okay, and that's where she got the name Annabelle from.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And so the nurse started treating the doll as a living girl.
She kind of fell for it. She fell for the spirit of the little girl and everything, right? So
she'd buy her candy and toys.
So basically, she accepted it for what it was, and she kept it in, and her roommate kept it in. And they started treating it almost like a real kid.
Yeah.
But then again, I want to say sorry, what is the word I'm looking for? The movement or the stuff the doll would do started getting a little malicious, right?
So this is when it got weird. So.
Yeah. And on top of this, I think is the boyfriend, even he knew the story, he didn't like it. It all creeped him out, which is understandable.
Okay,
you get somebody going on, the doll moving.
If you're sleeping over at your boyfriend or girlfriend's house,
right,
and around midnight the bed starts shaking, you have red and yellow lights start shimmering anywhere.
That would freak you out a little bit. Exactly.
When you walk by the doll, it growls at you. You would not like it either, wouldn't you?
No, I think you're probably right. It'd probably creep me out a little bit. I'd be like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and sleep in my house and stuff. That's why I don't stay over at my girlfriend and or boyfriend's house anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
But he decided he wanted to get rid of the doll. I think he wanted to burn it.
Right. Well, again, too, and also I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank on the word that fucking the thing the doll would do would get. It was more malicious. I think
like
at one
poltergeist.
point, the poltergeist activity. I'm sorry, activity. Jeez, Louise. And then at one point, it actually attacked the boyfriend. Right? It actually scratched him.
It was right after he said he wanted to get rid of and burn the doll.
Yes.
And he had a dream that the doll was attacking him.
Gotcha.
And the doll was like choking him or something. And he woke up and he had like welts.
Right. Which I don't know how a doll could.
Yeah, and then you told me something interesting, right?
Yeah. Well, one of the things I read was that the scratch marks, there was 3 going down and then 4 going across.
Yeah. Interesting.
Within 24 hours, because it was bleeding when it happened.
Yeah. Right.
But within 24 hours, completely gone. Like
wow.
No scratches, nothing.
I'd like to see what kind of Neosporin he was using. Damn, that's pretty good. Yeah, right? For some deep gouges, right? And so, all right.
That's when, right after that is when they called Ed and Lorraine Warren.
Or they called the priest, right? And the priest is the one that got hold of Ed and Lorraine?
So, yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway, so they got in touch with Ed and Lorraine Warren, which came in, and they kind of announced that Annabelle couldn't be a possessed doll. They went against what the medium said. They said this is a...
It wasn't a spirit. It was something more malicious.
Right, because spirits don't possess dolls or inanimate objects.
Or so
and
they say.
It's right. And so they were saying this was being controlled by a demon trying to pose as the Annabelle, whatever it was. So,
did any of you find out who Annabelle murdered? Because when I was doing my research, it said that once Annabelle killed somebody, that's when they put the thing over it.
Yeah.
The glass.
I know that the Warrens on the drive home with the doll nearly died several times.
Yeah, but they said that the doll finally killed somebody, and that's when they put do not touch, do not open, and they put it on the glass. I couldn't find who it killed.
I couldn't find who it either.
I didn't see it.
Yeah.
Well, so obviously the Warrens took it home, like you said, on the way home. Because the nurse and them, they were done with it. Like, we're done with this. So the Warrens said, well, we'll take it. And on the way, their brakes were failing, and they almost got in an accident until they supposedly blessed it with holy water, and then it calmed down. They took it to their Warrens Occult Museum. They had a bunch of stuff they were collecting because the Warrens, we'll get into another episode, they were into collecting stuff and helping people.
No, they still have the museum.
Right. Well, they were their collection they were kind of like a Christian Ghostbuster, basically.
Self-proclaimed demonologist. I think they have over like 700 artifacts.
They have a bunch, right? They have a whole bunch. So they took Annabelle in, where I think you said it finally somebody got harmed. It would move around their place too. Like it would never sit still. They finally end up harming somebody. I think it was wasn't it a priest? I don't know if it killed him or not. Oh, yes.
No, I read it, it said it killed somebody. So I don't know who, though.
No, it was a priest that it said didn't believe Annabelle. It said, Annabelle, you're nothing. You're just a doll. Supposedly on the way home, after Warren said, hey, you shouldn't be doing that, messing with it, the guy ended up getting in an accident and actually got killed. So that's when they made the special... So if you go on, I'll put the picture. If you go in there, you get the case of Annabelle in there, and there's Annabelle. And till where it sits this day, the Warrens have died, but the son-in-law has taken over, and you can go down to the Warren Occult Museum, and you can still see it today, as of today. I mean, well, it still might be closed down, but when it does open, you can go and you can, go through all the haunted objects and cursed objects and stuff that go through and going on. It's as far as we'll go into it later. So that's the story of Annabelle. We'll go into our thoughts later about it.
A good thing is a good segue. Not believing in the doll. Yeah, Robert the doll.
Robert the Doll. So I'm going to put the picture of Robert the Doll right here, guys. This is another big one. If you haven't heard of Robert the Doll, well, you're about to hear about him right now. So Robert the Doll is another interesting story now. Robert the Doll was actually a doll that was made in 1904 by the... let me get the name of that stuff.
He is 117 years old.
117. The Steiff company of Germany.
It's the same people that make the teddy bear.
Right. Yeah, so it's a famous
the
company that
original
made
teddy
that.
bear.
Right. So there was two stories about how this doll got to the family that did. I heard one that was a grandfather who was on a trip in Germany and purchased it for his grandson.
That's what I heard.
There was another story that there was a let me pull it up here. It was a Bohemian maid or a housekeeper that gave the doll to this family. Supposedly she had a vendetta, or she did not like the family. It sounded like they didn't treat her very well, so she gave it to her as a cursed object to cause mayhem to this family, basically. So those are the two stories about where the nexus of where this dog came from.
Yeah, but the weird thing, I don't know if that worked though, because it didn't really bother the Ottos. It bothered everyone after.
Right, but I mean, it was cursed. It was enough bad negative energy that did cause problems, with the child and everything.
Yeah,
so
but Eugene was
right. So the boy who ended up getting the doll, his name is Eugene Robert Otto. So he and when he got this doll, however he got it, and they called him Gene. He named it after himself, Robert. He named it Robert the doll, and he was really close to this doll. I mean, he was one of those kids that treated it like he was alive. It would
all
feed
the
it.
way into old age too. He talked to it in first person.
Yeah,
like
he never stopped. And it was harmless enough that parents didn't think much of it. The kid even bought like a little sailor outfit that he would probably wear when he was little. So that now to this day that Robert the doll, if you look at it, he still has that little sailor outfit. Again,
and
I'll put the picture up
bear.
there, and a teddy bear. After a while, the stuff the
Wasn't
parents.
it a dog?
Yep.
Yeah,
It's a
little-
dog. It looked like a little teddy bear doll. Yeah.
Teddy bear dog. So the toy doll has a teddy bear dog. That sounds good. So after a while, stuff would start missing in the house. Stuff would end up broken. They would look at the son, and the son would always be like, or Gene, he would be like, Robert did it. So he starts blaming Robert for all this stuff. And I mean, it's funny. You think of little kids doing that, always blaming each other, fine.
Wouldn't he be in his room?
Yeah.
Having conversations?
Yes. And
the
they would hear
deep
different voices,
male
right.
voice.
Yeah.
And they'd ask him to recreate the voice.
Right.
And he couldn't do it.
He
couldn't do it.
And
Yeah.
because they'd go in, obviously, and freak out, and they're like, well, what is this voice coming from? So, yeah, so it started getting a little unsettling. And I'm trying to remember, so the mom forced him to put him in his own room, I guess. Maybe I got that wrong, guys.
No, because he had that doll all the way into his old age until he
Right.
died. He kept it with him all everywhere.
Well, yeah, so he kept it, but, when he finally grew, Otto finally grew, so after all this activity, I don't remember they called anyone to look in it, but they just kept an eye on it. But it was really kind of mischievous kind of thing. It was really nothing malicious at the time.
Bad.
So Otto grew up, actually moved out. He went to art school in Paris, and they lived in Florida. This is in Key West, by the way, in Key West where they lived out in Florida. So Otto left for a few years to go to school, go to art school. He met his wife over there. They got married. He came back to live. He came and got his stuff. He got Robert the doll, and they moved to another house where that doll still sits today.
It's called the
house.
Art House.
Right. So he took the doll in, and he reconnected with Robert and his wife at the time. And I'm trying to remember her name. I think it's Anna or
Is it Annabelle?
Ann, yeah. And oh no, jeez. And realized the unusual connection between him and the doll, because he went right back into the way he was beforehand and treated the doll like a real person. And it kind of, she started hearing like little pitter-patter feet running when no one's home. She had Gene put Robert up in the attic where Gene kind of set up. He was like, okay, well, I'm going to put it up as his own room. And he kind of set furniture and up for Robert to be in. And then she would have him lock it was up in the attic, lock the door, which apparently Robert didn't like, because every once in a while they'd come in and Robert would be in their room or in the guest bedroom when nobody would let through, and even with a locked door. And so they would find him in different places where he wasn't supposed to be. And they would hear, when she was home alone, she would always hear little feet running upstairs. She would hear laughing and stuff like that. So it was creeping her the hell out. She didn't like it, but obviously Gene didn't want to hear anything about it. He was too attached to it. I don't know if they ever asked him about that. I didn't read about it, but I think he knew this was going on, but he was okay with it because that was his friend.
Well, it's not trying to hurt
From
him,
an
yeah.
early age.
Yeah, from his early, that's his best friend. So he's just like, yeah, that's just Robert,
They
Robert
would
did it.
They would hear chaos happening in his bedroom as
Yeah,
a kid,
right.
and everything would be overturned, stuff that was too heavy for him
Right.
to flip over.
Right.
And he would say, "It wasn't me.
It was me, it was Robert.
It was Robert."
Yeah. There was at one point when he was a kid where that happened. His parents heard screaming. They came in, and Gene was kind of curled up in the corner, and all the furniture was all turned over with Robert was just sitting on the edge of the bed. So the parents knew of this, and unfortunately, the parents passed away. That's when Gene took Robert over to the house. So anyway, Gene would have Robert in this house. When he would leave for work, kids in the neighborhood, everyone kind of knew about Robert. Everyone was kind of freaked out about Robert in the neighborhood. When they would walk by this house, they would see Robert sitting up in the attic window, kind of looking at him. It's really eerie, kind of
he'd
staring
be
at him.
there, and then he'd disappear, and then he'd be there.
Yeah,
again.
yeah. So they'd look up, he'd be gone, be there, and Gene and Ann are like, well, Gene was at work, and Ann's like, I'm not touching that damn thing because I'm not going upstairs. So this thing was moving on its own, supposedly. Some of the kids even said that they heard Robert making fun of him. I don't know about that, but it's just a scary thing that obviously they're going on, everything's disappearing or not. But now Robert sits today.
So Otto died.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Otto
And then
died in
he-
1974.
Yeah. So then a lady named
Yes.
Murdy
Yeah.
Reuter.
Bought the house, right?
purchased him. No, just purchased Robert. She
Okay.
took over Robert, and she would say that she would hear footsteps and then giggling.
Yeah.
And just weird things would start happening around the house.
But she kept them the whole time.
Not the whole time.
Right.
She ended up giving it to the museum.
Gotcha.
She
But-
just couldn't handle it anymore.
Right. But she kept it for quite a few years.
I think it was like
so-
20 years.
Yeah, I mean
But-
that's right. You kept it for that's a long time to finally
But
get.
so
scared
no,
of them.
actually, what she did was she put it in the attic.
Yes.
She kind of forgot about it, and she would always hear giggling and footsteps up in the attic. And I think just one day, 20 years later, she decided to clean the attic out, and she said, "I'm
I'm
giving
done with
him
this."
to a museum
Yeah.
where he's held now."
So when she bought him, did she know he was haunted? Or
I
she
don't.
just
I
liked
don't
him?
think so.
I was gonna say because if you know he's haunted and then you forget about him, like that's something you don't. I don't know something I wouldn't forget about. Like, oh, I forgot about that haunted dog that likes to attack people. at
Well,
night.
we're talking about Florida.
Obviously, there was a lot of different stuff. I heard differently that she
Oh, yeah.
didn't buy just him; she bought the house.
So I heard too.
It
but-
could have. Yeah, maybe she did, but
and it came with the house.
But she
because-
did keep him for 20 years, basically,
yeah,
right?
she
Yes.
kept him for 20 years.
Well, in the
attic.
house.
Right.
Yes.
So now, what is the museum that he's in today? He's in the
He
He's
is in
Martello.
Martello Museum in Key West, Florida. Yeah,
right. Yes.
Fort East.
And the house that Eugene lived at, people want to know, was 534 Eaton Street. Or is that the museum at Key West, Florida?
I don't know.
Anyways, that's where he's being kept now. So when people go and see him, so now they got Robert the dog. They got him in a glass case. They got him with a little toy dog he has on a seat. And the problem with Robert now is they had to keep him in the glass case, keep him where he's at because he would move around. Is if you're going to take a picture of him, you need to ask his permission. You got to be very respectful to Robert because he makes things happen to people. And there are letters that come in almost every day asking him for forgiveness
yeah.
about taking his picture without asking his permission. The people from not really deaths, but people who have bad health.
I've seen divorces,
Divorces,
car
wrecks,
accidents,
bankruptcies, and
broken
all-
bones,
Just all bad stuff that happens.
losing your job.
There was a younger
losing your
couple-
virginity. Sorry. Damn it, Robert.
So there was a story of a younger couple that came on a motorcycle,
Yep.
and he was really macho and was
They were
was not
disrespectful to him,
believing,
right? Yeah.
Yes, and just
Knocking on the
basically
glass.
talking trash
Yeah.
to Robert.
Right.
And on the drive home, he wrecked his motorcycle, went head first into a tree.
Yeah.
She managed to live after like a year of recovery, but
Right.
he died instantly.
And she had said, like, it's weird because at the time they were still kind of laughing at Robert when he
when they
wrecked.
got in that crash.
Yeah, when they got in the wreck. So
Well, I've also heard that like people go to Robert for advice.
yeah, they're writing for advice.
Or
They're
to
writing
curse
to
people.
curse people, which is very weird. But
Why
they
are you
still
asking a doll for
I
advice?
have no idea. Yeah, how's he going to answer? Maybe in your dreams. He
So
answers
people
in
think
dreams.
like, okay, let's go through this. So people think that bad things happen, like, oh, I got a divorce. But what if some guy goes, he came in and he goes, I don't think I love my wife anymore. What do you
Yeah.
think I should do?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
he hears a voice say, divorce her. And then when he gets divorced, he's like, you motherfucker. Like, I shouldn't have divorced this woman.
Right.
She took everything from me.
Yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, the person who said it was her lawyer
Yeah,
behind
it was
him.
bad. Yeah, it was bad.
Divorce her. Like,
Yeah.
That's her lawyer. Like, yes. Sorry, guys.
And
All right.
I will say this: that the case that they have, someone donated. They like beefed it up. He has its own air conditioned unit, and,
Oh, jeez.
and like it's fully thing to make him perfect.
Him comfortable.
Yeah, the
he's
humidity's perfect in
real
there.
Person and-
Yeah.
Right. So if you ever go see Robert, which I would like to actually, I'd like to go see, this.
I like
this
to see
place where-
Annabelle and Robert, actually.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
You're supposed to treat him with respect. You cannot shorten his name. His name's Robert. You don't shorten it to Bobby or Rob or something. It's got to be full Robert the
Dick.
doll.
Or Dick. What's up, Dick? How you doing?
You're asking for it.
You got a big dick?
I know. I'm sorry. Please forgive
No,
me.
that's,
Hey, we're not around him right now,
and
so
you,
we can.
you
make
got to
fun.
ask. Well, here's the thing with the permission thing. So you say, "Hey, Robert, is it okay if I take your photo?" And you take it. I'm like, "What if Robert's like, no, it's not okay?" And you're like, "But
And
I
you
asked
didn't hear
permission." Yeah. So, right. So I'm like, "How do you know what the answer is?" What if Robert's like, "I'm not in the mood," and you're just trying, and I'm not trying to disrespect you, Robert, out there. And just saying, yeah, like, how would you know what the doll's thinking? Anyways,
What if
so,
he growled at you and you didn't hear it?
Oh my God! Yeah, exactly. What if it's on the little,
Yeah.
mic recorder? So,
Was
before
this
we-
the case where they didn't have him like in one of the main rooms, and
Yes.
so
Yep.
many people were coming in
Yeah,
requesting
so when
him?
they
He
first
has his
got
own
in
room
there,
now.
they
Yeah.
had just put him by the front door, just the people come in because it's a museum of just old antiques and stuff, and he would move around. They would find stuff missing, and so that's when they finally like, okay, we've had enough of this. We're putting him in his own room, and
a
put it in a
case.
case and
Yeah,
stuff.
and
like,
people
exactly.
came like flocking to see him too.
Right, yeah.
They didn't expect that.
Like,
Right.
all
Right.
the lights would turn off at the same time, and it's like 6 different switches.
Yeah.
To do, yeah.
And it's not an automated.
Like it's like
no.
a power shortage
Yeah.
almost going on. Yeah.
Oh, and before we start jumping in, and we got a bunch of other stories. Before we start jumping, let's jump into the psychology of what makes us scared of dolls. I mean, there's a lot of people that have a phobia of dolls. Which what is that phobia called?
It's called. You want to say it, Laura?
No,
Or do you
not
want me to
really.
say it?
Pediophobia.
Pediophobia. Your
There
turn.
we go. Right.
Pediophobia.
You say daddyophobia?
Pedio.
That's something
No.
different. Yeah, that's scared of your daddy. Yeah, it's a pediophobia. So we'll jump into psychology a little bit because dolls, to me, dolls are a little bit scary. You know, we got this little guy right here, which we're gonna have
Laura,
Laura.
what's its
Laura's
name?
gonna name lately.
That is baby Ada.
Baby Ada.
Just you know, baby
Okay,
Ada
David.
kept
She's been
falling off.
moving.
I mean, obviously it's barely set up there, but she kept jumping off a little bit on. But she's behaving right now.
Yeah.
When we're setting up, I was going to the table. She gets jumping off, so
Good baby.
keep an eye on her. So you guys out there, keep an eye on her. If she moves, you tell us. So I'm right by this damn thing. But yeah, let's get into the psychology of our fear of dolls. What
So-
makes them creepy to some people and creepy to others.
All right. So this guy named Masahiro Mori,
All right.
a Japanese professor of robotics and aesthetics,
Okay.
got this from Sigmund Freud, kind of.
Good old Sigmund Freud.
They call it the uncanny valley,
Yeah.
where if a doll, anything that looks human-like but doesn't move or talk or
Portray
communicate,
emotion, right?
it messes with our brains in a way.
Because we're trying to read it.
Yeah, so our brains look at something, we see human eyes, a mouth, a nose.
And we read the. You're
and
right. You're
limb,
correct. We read the
and-
face. What is her face telling
and
me?
what people don't realize
subconsciously.
is, yeah, I mean, you look at things and you don't realize it because we take it for granted, but we're trying to communicate with things constantly.
Yeah.
And when we try to communicate with this doll, because we see human-like features,
Yeah.
and it's not talking back, we start kind of like freaking out.
Right.
And it's the same way that people freak out about corpses, because you look at a human body that's dead and it's not moving and it's not talking, and you kind of get scared of it.
Right.
You're like,
Yeah.
I don't know how this can't compute to me. Like it's not there anymore.
Especially, yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. So it's that's why any kind of lifelike robots or dolls or lifelike.
They talked about robots. Yeah.
Right. I would even put into the innocence of the things, which like the Raggedy Ann doll to me is more creepier. Not that she's more lifelike; it's just that she's supposed to be. The more innocence you try to give something to me, for some reason, for me, it creeps me out even more. The Annabelle movie has that ratty doll. I'm like, okay, that's just to me that looks stupid. I go, I think they ruined it. They could have. Maybe
And it's a big doll,
Maybe
too.
they're not allowed to because Raggedy Ann is the actual company that makes it. Maybe they didn't want a lot, but they could have made the doll just look like an innocent little doll like
Might
this,
hurt sales.
nondescript. Yeah, right.
Well,
Yes.
I feel like
Right.
they made Annabelle look more like the Shadow doll,
Right.
like more evil looking.
Right. Right. Yeah, that's
Instead
true.
of
Right. And
innocence.
that's right. And we'll get into it. Well, you know what? Let's just. All right. I guess
Well-
let's jump in.
Well,
You wanna go
well,
ahead?
real
there's
quick
still-
before we get too far,
Yeah.
I don't know if they still do it in high school, but when I was in high school, they'd give you a doll to take care of.
I did it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you did
I hate
that.
that thing.
I
It would
didn't do that.
cry
And it would cry and it would wet itself, and you were responsible, and you got a grade based on how well you cared for
Oh
it.
my
And
God.
You had to actually treat it like it was living, breathing, and that
Yeah.
you're responsible. And
Yeah.
so that's a
like, what-
weird thing to carry
I
this
got
doll
a- I
around
got a
everywhere
D.
and drop it and be like, oh,
You got a D.
I got a D
I
on
got
that
a
one.
D?
Yeah, my partner kept dropping the doll.
They'd be telling me like, you buried it in your backyard. That's what I do with all my living things. It's abandoned in the backyard. I'll tell you.
smother with the pillow. Stop crying.
That's right.
Now,
Anyways,
I will also say with this, pediophobia has
Yeah.
been around a while.
Yeah.
It's more prevalent today because we're making movies about it and we're kind of putting it in our brains that we should be kind of freaked out by dolls.
Right. Okay. Makes sense.
I don't know how prevalent it was back in the day before, horror movies and all that.
Yeah, because you didn't know that you should be scared, or
Yeah.
that you could be scared. I should say should. You could be scared of them, right?
Yeah, and I also read up that children aren't really afraid of dolls, and then it's if you have a personal experience that was
Negative.
not good, a very negative experience,
Okay.
and you associate it with the doll,
Yeah.
it bleeds into your adulthood,
Gotcha.
giving you that like I don't like dolls.
Oh, I think,
Or,
speaking of that, I think the original Poltergeist clown doll thing kind of freaked me out about clowns as it is nowadays. And
I just don't like
and
clowns
dolls.
anyway.
Well,
You're not supposed to smile that much.
That didn't help, exactly. But yeah, that kind of speaks to that and everything.
Yep.
So, okay. That's
so like folklore and all that, and the horror movies, it just adds on to the mystique
Yeah.
of dolls being creepy.
okay. Well, let's jump into some of the other kind of lesser known dolls.
Before I do this,
Yes.
you, Laura, didn't you go to the clown museum?
I didn't go to the clown
You
museum.
wanted to, right?
I considered it, but nah,
So
I'm going
what
to
is
stay.
it?
The
You
Stephen
went-
King
I
kind of ruined
haven't
me.
gone yet.
Yeah.
I fucking hate clowns. And there's
Another episode
Clown
about
Hotel.
clowns. Yes.
It's a
The Clown Hotel. Yes, that's
Not the
where I wanted to
museum.
go.
I'm sorry.
And I would still go, actually, I think.
You can go by yourself. I'm not going. I'm not walking into a
we're gonna
fucking
trick
room.
'em.
Yeah, I'm not
I
walking
don't know
into
if
a
I'd
room.
stay overnight. I didn't say that. I'd
Yeah.
walk in and walk out.
There's a hotel that has porcelain doll clowns throughout the entire hotel.
Yeah.
The whole thing's themed after this, and you don't need to put
Here
me
in
in
Nevada.
Yeah, here in Nevada.
This is
And
delving into a clown
there's a
fear
graveyard. Yeah, there's a graveyard, I believe, like 100 yards from it.
Oh yeah, a good place to put Red Common Hotel.
So no,
Was it a hotel or a motel?
it's a motel.
It's a motel.
Oh.
Yeah, my bad.
Clown Hotel sounds a little fancier, but Clown Motel is...
Clown hotel.
Clown Hostel. No way.
Clown
No,
No,
thank you.
We will take your organs and scare
They
you at the
really
same
wanted
time.
tourism. They should have done
Clown
hostel.
Hostel. That
God
sounds
damn.
terrible. Hey, nobody make that movie. That's mine. Clown Hostel. I claim it.
Coming 2025.
Coming. So let's jump into some of the other lesser known haunted dolls out there, and I'm just gonna jump ahead. I'm gonna start with this because Trevor just mentioned it. It's called the Shadow Doll.
Okay.
The Shadow Doll, I'll put the picture in here. As you said, now the Shadow Doll is nothing pretty. It's not a pretty doll. It's not made for kids.
It's not supposed to be
It's
pretty.
not supposed to be. And right now, it is located in the Warren Occult Museum.
See, they
is
have
what
everything.
This doll is actually made as a ritual to curse people. The owner had got together actually human bones, animal bones, and animal parts, made an ugly-looking doll. I'll put the photo here. It has a real human tooth, which if you look at the photo, I'm going to put it right here right now, and I'm going to close it up. Look at the tooth. The tooth is in backwards, so you see the spokes coming out almost sideways this way. I'm like, well, no wonder why this doll's pissed off. You put the tooth in upside down, I'd be pretty pissed off too. I was like, God dang it, you couldn't have put my tooth in right. But anyways, this doll was made to curse people. So this owner would make this doll, and they would send images, I guess like a photo
So
of
they
it.
take a picture of it.
Take a picture of it and send it to the people who they wanted to curse, and whoever looked at it. So I don't know if there was probably more to the curse that he had to actually include the photo. And then when he sent it to the person, that person was cursed, whether it be, well, I don't know what exactly what happened, but they
Yeah,
would
but
be
it was
cursed.
funny because when I was reading it, it goes.
I know
they had a photo of it, and then you read goes. Anyone that saw this doll in a picture was cursed, and he goes,
Sorry.
he goes. Funny thing is, you just saw a picture of the doll.
So wait, what time frame are we talking?
It had to be.
It's good. This is
know.
back. You know, I don't even know if I
It's
saw
not that
a year.
long because it had to be. You're taking pictures of it,
Right.
and then they also said that you can't get rid of the doll. Because if you try to get rid of the doll, destroy it, burn it, whatever, the spirit that they conjured into the doll is going to haunt you.
Right.
Even though you burn the doll, now the
It was
spirit's
still
attached to you.
So actually, I know what happened. So when they show the doll to the people end up having terrible nightmares about the
yeah,
doll.
and then your heart would stop.
So bad that it would kill some people. Basically, it would supposedly scare you to death. Basically, is what this doll. So that would be what the curse would do. Yeah, and then getting rid of it, you can't do it because you can't burn it. So the Warrens end up acquiring it, and now it sits in the cult museum. Actually, pretty close to where Annabelle is at. If you guys want to go down and look at it, yeah,
they're
exactly.
roommates.
Yeah, yes, fun times. So that is actually the Shadow Doll. Again, not a doll for kids. It was a doll made just to purposely curse people. It was made so it was an evil doll, I guess, evil intentions basically on it. So not something you want to be grabbing for your kid or for your 28-year-old nurse daughter like Annabelle.
So a segue that I wanted to go, which was, I was under the same impression that most people probably are about voodoo dolls are similar to shadow dolls, is that they have curses linked to them if they want to hurt people.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, the origin of a voodoo doll wasn't for evil or a bad intent at all. It was actually to heal and to replenish and nurture people.
It's supposed to be helpful.
It was supposed to be helpful.
Interesting.
And it was an African ritual that did good, not bad.
Right.
And someone twisted it.
But I think that just like there's a yin and a yang,
Yes.
I think that there can be good and bad in anything, even baby Ada over there.
This baby creeps me out.
That's what makes her creepy. So there was a show I was watching. It was about real stories of people experiencing paranormal or weird instances, and this a couple was hiking in a forest, and they came across a wooden doll with big nails, not just little ones, long, big, thick nails.
Yeah, that's
all
not good.
through the head and the chest.
Wow.
And, I mean, there was like 7 or 8 nails hammered into the doll.
Like the classic voodoo doll with the nails through
Okay.
like a pins.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they took it home.
Why would you take that home?
That's what you leave
What do you do with it? I mean, do you leave it there? Or?
Yeah,
Hell
leave that
yeah.
bad boy there.
I'd
Yes.
dig a hole and put it in the hole.
And they took it home, and instantly they regretted it.
Yeah,
Yes.
duh.
Yeah.
Duh.
Exactly.
And so they gave it. I cannot remember, and I couldn't find any more about it. But they
Yeah.
gave it to somebody to investigate,
Yes.
and they said, "Get this doll."
Away from me.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is the worst I've
Yeah.
ever encountered.
Yes.
So.
Oh, Jesus.
They came up with the idea that it needed to go back to its origin, where it
Yes.
should have been left.
Yeah,
Right.
dig a hole and drop
It's
it.
like finding an old grenade or
So,
old
yes.
dynamite. You just leave it alone. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not touching that, right?
You could dig a hole and drop it,
Yeah.
but it still could do
Affect you.
damage
Yeah.
because it's now attached to
No,
you.
I'd
You're
be
the
asking
one
so
that's.
once you grabbed it is
I'd
basically
be saging my ass
I-
left and right all the way out of that fucking forest.
I think in my personal opinion,
Yeah.
I would do whatever I could
Yeah.
to make sure that I didn't disrespect.
Like appease the doll.
Yeah.
Yes, and do what I could to uncurse it. And so what they did was they had a seance where they took each of the pins out, and as they were doing this, the wildlife. Well, when they brought the doll back out into the forest, the wildlife was silent. There was no crickets, no animals, no nothing. And as they started to take the nails out of the doll, the wolves started howling like crazy.
Yeah,
And
no.
even when they got to the last one, they got louder and closer. All
Yeah.
of the wolves did. And then when it was done, it just got normal. The crickets and everything started coming back to life. But
Yeah.
when they had finally taken all the pins out, like it back to normal, nothing happened, and they left the doll right there.
Right
They
there.
didn't bury it. They didn't disrespect it. They just said, "Okay, you're uncursed, and we are out."
Nope.
I get the same reaction from nature when I use the bathroom too. So
Then wolves start howling.
no, yeah, no. I mean, I would try anything too. I mean, I would try even like the skunk thing. I take a tomato bath. I'm like, look, doll, I'm taking a tomato bath. I don't know if this is working, but I'll do whatever you can do, right? I mean, you'd have to probably look into it. But that's that's a creepy ass story. But that's their fault for grabbing that damn thing. As soon as you
Yeah.
saw like nails through a doll, I'm like, nope, I am not touching that. Thank you very much.
And so they were sure it was a voodoo, not like a witch type thing.
I
Like
mean,
a-
It's but one and the same, basically, huh?
is
kind of-
it? Yeah, would it be?
I would imagine, yeah. It's voodoo-esque. I mean, voodoo's always about inflicting, I guess, well, originally not harm, but inflicting something through the doll, like whether it be a good positive energy or negative energy, that would be a voodoo doll.
I imagine in the wrong hands, it can become dangerous.
Yeah, because I know a lot of people go out in the woods and they think they're witchcraft people, and
They find out
do
they're
weird
not.
shit.
Yeah, exactly. Well, they find it right away, like, oh, I should have been messing with that because this is coming back at
Yeah,
me tenfold. All right, well, interesting.
Moral of the story: when you find a doll with nails in it, leave it the fuck alone.
If you find a doll out in the woods, just
leave it
Let
alone.
be. It wants to be there.
Yeah.
It was sent there for a reason, right?
Sure it was.
Trevor, what we got, buddy?
Oh, okay. So this one actually is funny. It's called Letta.
Letta.
Have you guys heard of it?
I have heard of Letta too. But that's only through looking through homework on this subject. But yes, go ahead and
All right. So Letta is an Australian. I love Australia.
put the picture of Letta here.
Yeah. So this was this
Creepy
happened
looking
in
doll. Yeah.
Wagga Wagga, Australia,
Oh, I love that name.
and this lady died, and her sons, I believe, no, her grandsons came through.
Okay.
And they were taking care of the house after the funeral, like, closing it up and going through all the stuff.
Right.
And this is where, like, I don't know if it was under the floorboards or it was like it was in a weird, precarious place.
Gotcha.
And one of the grandsons saw it, and he was like, "What is this?" And they pull it out, and the doll is creepy looking. It's like a
Yeah.
ventriloquist looking doll.
Yeah. Again, photo will be here.
Yeah.
It's not a pretty looking doll.
And so they kind of laughed about it, and then they were heading home, and they took the doll with them, and they put it in a sack.
Yeah.
And they got the name Letta because during the drive back to their home, the doll kept like moving and trying to like get out, and like so they were like, "Oh, Letta me out!" Like,
Yeah.
so they call it Letta.
Right.
And when they took it home, they and this would piss me off. They would find the doll would move around. So
Yeah.
the doll would like do its own little thing and move around, and they would find little scuff marks from the shoes.
Oh my gosh.
On the floor.
Yeah.
And
buy new shoes or something. But
yeah, and they said that the doll would like creep people out that came over. And animals, especially dogs, would act very strange and like aggressive towards the doll. And it was just like a little fun. It's funny. Like that's funny to me.
Briefly looking into it, it wasn't like an evil thing. It was just more like a mischievous kind of.
Yeah, it would just move around and do things, and there's no like. I didn't read anything about anyone getting harmed.
Yeah, and even the owners were.
Yeah, Carrie Walton is the owner.
They're a little creeped out by it, but it was fun. It wasn't something where they wasn't also, evil intent, so they were kind of.
We're talking about Australians.
Yeah, that's true. You're driving home with the doll that starts moving in the bag. They're like, I guess we'll keep it taken home. I want to pull the thing out that damn window.
Another Saturday night.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Let's keep us interested for a little bit.
Yeah. So I thought that one was a pretty good one. Like
that's pretty good. Yeah, that's a good one because that's not all haunted dolls are bad or want to kill you. Some of them are just haunted and just doing their own thing. They kind of remind me of kids sometimes, like little kids or kind of weird entities that are not exactly evil all the time.
Not all the time.
All the time. It seems like every time
they got their moments.
All right, so we're going to talk about Peggy the Haunted Doll. And so Peggy the Haunted Doll was bought by a woman in Britain, and she had found it in 2015 at a garage sale. Didn't say exactly where, but she had noticed that Peggy started happening in the house. She attributed to Peggy, so she called the paranormal investigator, Janie Harris, and this is all in England, in Britain. So she came over to examine that because the owner had said that it caused her nightmares, and in nightmares she saw Peggy the doll, mysterious illnesses. She had tried getting a priest over, but after a couple of visits, there was, the priest looking at it and trying to bless it, there was no change. Peggy kept bugging this owner. So the paranormal investigator, Janie Harris, took it with herself, and she took it home. Harris herself, a few days later, became really sick, and she couldn't leave bed, and she was suffering hallucinations and strange noises while Peggy was in the house. And this didn't start until she had gotten Peggy. And it didn't stop till one of her fellow investigators took Peggy from the house. And it all stopped, and she got better. They took her to a psychic, and then the psychic claimed that Peggy is embodied by the spirit of a London woman in 1946. She had died from a respiratory condition. They think it was asthma. They believe the woman was a frustrated woman who was persecuted in life. So she basically didn't have a good life. And they think that she might have had ties to the Holocaust. She was not a very nice person, I guess, because of the way she was treated. So when she died, let's see, that her spirit was induced into Peggy the doll, I think, because that was maybe one of her dolls that she had. So if you Peggy the doll can supposedly affect you through pictures and online video, apparently. So I remember watching this, and they had it on the same thing. And it was like, well, you just saw the video of this Peggy, and she can reach out to you now. I'm like, well, thanks a lot.
Did she give what is it, the claimer?
Yeah, disclaimer.
Yeah, disclaimer right in the start of the bill.
They never do. They always wait to the very end, like, ha. So
gotcha.
Right, as today, you can still now have a picture of Peggy here. You can watch Peggy on YouTube. You just go Peggy the Haunted Doll.
At your own risk.
Right, at your own risk, the photos. So people are saying like they get stuff like headaches. One woman said she had a heart attack. People are saying the sense of anxiety. They're getting nauseated. Lights in the house will flicker when you're watching these videos and stuff. They say she also torments people in their dream. One lady said Peggy had warned her about one of her cats. The next morning, she found their cat very sick and sadly died that day too. Janie Harris, who still has the original investigator who took it, got the doll back. She still has she took the doll for a little bit and to investigate to see if there's any kind of normal explanation for things. So basically, she took it back and doing what an investigator, she was trying to find if there's any reasonable way why this thing would be happening when this is in the house. She's trying to find explanations for stuff with this doll when this doll is going on. But as taking notes and sessions for Peggy, the next morning she couldn't find her notes anywhere. They'd be disappeared. One time she found her notes like in her basement up on one of her beams where she had to have her husband get in the ladder to get them. I don't know how the hell she found it up there, but so even going into trying to debunk this, Peggy was messing with her, basically, screwing her and saying like, yeah, no, this is real. So right now, as it is, Peggy is located in Zach Bagans' Haunted Museum.
Which you can talk on that, Laura.
Yes, in Las Vegas here. And I'll put the picture of a little thing case there. Yes, our own Laura actually went down for some homework. And she actually went down to Zach's Museum. Have you ever been down there? That's not a cheap homework. That does cost you a little bit.
So what'd you think?
Tell us the truth. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Straight up truth.
Yeah.
I couldn't stick around to see her because it was, number one, it was so cold, and a lot of people would associate that with being encountered by spirits.
Right.
No, they do that deliberately.
It
was almost too staged for me to even get remotely like intrigued about any of the rooms.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
they save her till last, of course. And by this time, I was so cold. I mean, I'm used to being cold these days,
Right.
but it was unbearable.
But it was like you said, like it was like air conditioner cold.
Yeah,
It's like
and
they're
you
just
said it was
blasting air.
It'd be
right?
one thing if they had like one area was cold and
Yeah,
the rest was
but the whole
normal, and
just
then you
freezing.
think, okay, maybe I just
Something
encountered.
Yeah.
To be
Yeah.
honest, I did see her on the way out, and I just kind of saluted her, and I was like,
Yeah, it's cold. Yeah.
So
you weren't into it, and you said it was just
so
terrible.
staged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that those items don't have history or
the way they
Just
bring it
the way
up
it's
is-
set up
yeah.
is, and you said it was like 2 hours.
it's 2.5 hours.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, it's a long time, and you're with a whole group of people, and it's just all scripted, or you're watching a video of what. So none of it felt authentic.
Right.
So
It's too bad.
Yeah, I was really excited to go.
Yeah, I was too until I heard that. I'm like, really? Yeah.
Yeah, I
So-
think the Clown Motel would have been better.
I feel like that museum, you should just be able to wander around at your own.
Clown
what I
Hostel
asked.
LLC.
You should be able to. Like, I don't get why they don't do that.
I'm sure they have a VIP thing.
Yeah, but I ain't paying that.
Very important, Peggy.
Yeah, very
Gotcha,
important,
Peggy.
Peggy.
I'm sending you out there a thumbs up, Peggy.
Because I know he went ape shit trying to get all that stuff for that museum.
Oh, he did. I mean, it kind of reminds me of the Warrens Occult Museum.
But I think that's what he's trying to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Like-
Anyways, no, that's going to be another separate episode of Warren's. The other good, yeah. So you were Bethany. You didn't get to really see Peggy. You saw her briefly because you were just so disappointed and very cold. Apparently,
Very
that's
cold.
too bad. All right, that's too bad. Yeah,
I
okay.
wish I had something paranormal for you
Right.
guys.
No, it's okay. Yeah, it's okay. You went there. That was good
yeah,
enough
that
for
was
everybody.
cool.
Good job. Yeah, exactly.
We appreciate
You
it.
braved the ice cold. Exactly. All right, there, Laura. What else do we got over there, bud?
Okay, I guess it's time for Okiku.
Ooh, Okiku.
Okiku, yeah.
How do you spell that? So people want to know.
Okiku.
Okay, so obviously it's an Asian Japanese doll, I imagine.
Yes.
Oh, very nice.
It's a Japanese doll, and okay, forgive me.
It's okay.
Manenji
Okay.
Manenji Temple.
Okay.
And
Manenji?
I'm not even gonna try.
Okay.
To pronounce that city.
In-
Iwa Mitsu. Yeah.
Iowa, Mizawa, Japan.
Yeah, just so you know, we're Americans.
Yes. If you haven't guessed, we are Americans. I'll put the name. I'll post the name here for you guys to see. Yeah,
That she
definitely on screen.
resides in the temple in that place on the screen, and
Okay.
then in 1918 is the origin. One of the origin stories is
Okay.
that her older brother bought this doll in a shop for his sister. He was coming home. He'd been gone for 2 years, I believe, and he was coming home and he wanted to bring his baby sister a doll.
Yeah, nice. Something that brothers
something
would do.
nice.
Yeah.
So when he got home shortly after, she loved the doll. First of all, she was at dinner with it. She would bathe with it. She would sleep
Yeah.
with it. I mean, it just everywhere she went,
Right.
the doll was with her,
Yeah.
as most little girls.
Right.
Yeah, and it's
Exactly.
a good-looking doll. I've seen a picture of it. Like, it's a cute doll.
Put a photo of them.
So the doll originally had a really short bob,
Yeah.
haircut, dark brown haircut bob.
Kind of the Japanese style.
like
the
a geisha,
hair,
right?
With,
Yes.
with
Yeah.
the cutout, right? And that little, yeah, gotcha.
And then I don't remember how much time passed, but not very long. There was 2 different theories on how she died. One was a mosquito and she got really ill.
Like malaria or
Yes.
something. Okay.
And then the other one was flu. But
Okay.
either way.
It was a sickness,
I
basically.
heard she
'Cause-
fell off a cliff.
Oh, you heard something completely
Right.
different than
But
I
she
did.
Yeah,
died,
I-
basically she died very young.
Yeah, because they
3
live on
years
like
old.
an island or something.
Yeah.
And she was
Ooh, she was 3 years old.
playing.
Yeah. Ooh. So,
and
yeah.
something happened and she fell because they didn't know what happened to her, and I guess she fell off the cliff.
Yeah.
And perished.
I guess, however, it was just she died very young and
Yeah,
suddenly.
suddenly and yeah.
And
Okay.
it devastated the family.
Yeah.
And they have strict rules about what you can bury with your loved ones when they pass.
Yeah.
Yeah,
in
especially
Japan.
in Japan.
Yes. It can't be flammable. It can't. So they wanted to bury the doll with her because that was her
That was
prized
her thing,
possession.
yeah.
But they wouldn't allow it. So they ended up, which didn't make much sense. They said with her ashes and the doll, they put it on the on the fireplace mantle.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But if she was buried, I don't know why there'd be ashes too. But that's what they said, that they had ashes and the doll on the...
Maybe they buried half of her and then burnt the other half.
Yeah, that made me think weird thoughts. Yes. So they all started experiencing dreams where she would visit. The doll would come and visit them, and they all agreed that they've all felt like their little sister their spirit was in Okiku.
Okay. So it wasn't bad dreams. It was just dreams that kind of maybe letting them know, like, I am in the doll, maybe?
Yeah, I don't really feel like it was malevolent.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't hear anything.
It doesn't sound like, I mean, go ahead with the story.
Which is not good for...
I'm like, what is that?
No, someone's calling.
Oh, that's me.
Oh, okay. It's okay. That freaked us out.
Like,
we all looked over like, what the hell?
I didn't do it.
Watch.
Nobody said it was your turn to talk. We're
She's
good.
like, I'm bored. I'm making a phone call. So sorry.
That is very rude.
And actually, by the way, I messed up. It wasn't Okiku. It was the doll I'm thinking about where the lady died. It was like the Pelelu something doll.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
because it's similar stories where the girl, like, she fell off a cliff and then she ended up in a temple too.
Okay. But anyways, exactly.
My bad.
Yeah.
I mixed that up.
So what they all tended or noticed pretty early on is that the length of the hair on this doll was growing, which they all found really odd. And they all had
and it was actual human hair too, right?
It was actually human hair. They did test it, and it was a hair from a real human girl, a young girl.
Yeah.
And so they...
so the hair's growing on it.
They are all experiencing these weird dreams where they're being told that the spirit of their little sister or their daughter is now in this doll.
Yeah.
And they... especially around the time of her birthday or her death day, it would get really, really bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
But what kind of surprised me is that they as soon as they were moving, and makes me think, why were they moving? Number one, that they had been there for so many generations.
Right.
They were moving, and they decided to donate her to the temple.
It's kind of fucked up.
Right? Because one
You're
thing I've
leaving your
noticed,
daughter?
they will take stuff from generation to generation. They don't give things
especially
away.
in Japan.
Yes.
That's
They're
sacred.
Yes. So it leads me to believe that they didn't really want to be experiencing these dreams every year around her birthday or death day, or just
it might have been a little much emotionally, maybe. Yeah,
to be spiritualistic and then see this hair growing and try to explain it scientifically, and maybe it just was too much for the family. And it was also every single year they couldn't move on. They were grieving and they couldn't move on.
Okay, that kind of makes sense. I was thinking now, did it say the year that it moved to the temple, or not that you have to have it? Did it?
Yes, 1958.
Okay, so so when this happened, the little girl was like 1918?
Because this is right after World
So this
War
is
II.
years. So it might have been the immediate family. So the ones family afterwards were not as attached to.
That's true. I didn't.
And so they're like, you know what? We're going to go ahead and.
But
I
there's
got
so
you.
much meaning that's
There is.
through.
But maybe, like you said, we're still getting visits from her. We didn't even really know her. Not that we don't love our ancestor.
Or they just got really tired of. I mean, if you're selling this house that has been in your family and you're moving to a complete different site.
Right. It could have been when the brother officially died, or the mom, or something. They're like, okay, let's get rid of this thing now, not in a bad way, and that's why they give it to the temple, which is not like just throwing it away. Like, here, we're gonna give it to. It was a temple, right? Like a monk's temple. Yes.
Well, I mean, this is also right after World War II, so I could see why they had to move. Maybe the area they're in got firebombed or something.
Yeah.
Or,
Maybe most of the family died, and they got. You never know.
They needed to go to a better area or something.
Yeah.
So they also would notice that her mouth would open and close.
Oh,
and
I didn't read that one.
Yeah, that's creepy.
And they started to notice that it looked like the forming of teeth.
Oh my God.
No. So that when
I don't get people.
Go ahead. Sorry, we're just reacting here.
I just don't get people. I'm sorry. Yeah, no. If I see weird, creepy shit, that doll is going away.
So is this at the temple that they're noticing this?
No, in the house, right?
I don't think that the temple would have disclosed that. I think it had to have been at the house.
Which is probably another reason that they wanted to get away. Like, this thing is starting to really creep us the hell out.
So they were like at the house. They were experiencing their lights flicking on and off, banging, and voices. But like I said, none of it seemed malevolent. So
almost like the kid was trying to get their attention.
Right.
And she was invading the dreams. So when she moved into the temple, she started invading the dreams of the priests that were there.
Okay. Yes. Okay.
And she's still there. You're not allowed to take any pictures, which makes me wonder how we got the picture. But
right, yeah, exactly. There's a bunch of photos online, and the hair still grows, right?
And the hair's below her waist.
Don't they give it a haircut?
They give it a haircut, right?
They give it a haircut, and it still continues to grow. And you can see what it all looked like when it was first given, and it's a short little bob, and then you see it down past her waist.
Interesting.
At the temple, they don't let you take pictures. It's very, very it's not like it's something they want to advertise. Like they don't. They're very discreet about
they're not advertising, right?
Yeah, like Japanese temples are very discreet in that nature, way. Anyway, like they're very secretive.
They don't want you to come for the doll. They want you to come because it's a temple.
We're talking about sacred.
They just happen to have a doll.
Oh yeah, basically. I know what I was going to say. It was the debunking. They tried to debunk why the hair was growing. Scientifically, right? So they had said that the loosening of the hair over time in a doll could have made the hair get longer. Well, they also said that even if the hair had been loosened, it would never have gotten as long as it did.
This picture says the hair's long.
And I mean, even if there's extra hair up in the scalp of the doll, it would never have gotten this, and it wouldn't, after being cut, it wouldn't have continued to be
it's like a never-ending hair. Yeah.
So they have tried to debunk scientifically, and
they just can't. Yeah, they have really.
You know what I'd be really interested in, but we'll never get this. But if they had like a DNA test of the girl that died, and then they DNA test the hair to see if it was similar.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. To see if it was
if it's really her.
So that's the creepiest thing about that doll is it made of really human hair, and it just creeps me out. I don't like that.
They make a lot of dolls with
I know, and I don't like that.
Yeah, they do make a lot of dolls with human hair.
No, thank you. This is a really human heart in here.
I don't see you. Yeah, I don't see you messing around.
Well,
with
not
dolls.
yet. Come here. Sorry, guys. All right, so that's creepy. Yeah, that's I didn't know about the teeth and the mouth, and that adds another layer to that. But again, it's not like the monks and people are not really scared of it, but it wants you to know that it's still around. Like whoever's or whatever's possessing or has a hold of that doll is still around, and still lets you know, like, yeah, I'm here. Don't worry about it. But again,
I think
it's not
with like
malicious.
that though, like you have like anything with ghosts, like your warning is if you give it attention, it's gonna get worse, right? Like poltergeists, demons, ghosts. Yeah. You start giving it attention, and it starts feeding off that energy. I think it's the same thing with the doll.
With the doll.
Well, you know what? I got a weird one for you. You want dolls?
Yes.
Bring it.
So down in Mexico.
Oh boy, yes, this is it.
Where did I write all of this? Damn, I lost it.
There are Mexicans.
Yes. So down in Mexico, yes, there are Mexicans. It is called the Island of Dead Dolls.
Oh yes.
La Isla de las Muñecas.
Yep.
So there was a guy named Don Julian Santana Barrera. Yeah, he lived in the mid 20th century, not that long ago actually.
Okay.
And this is where the story's kind of weird.
Okay.
So when you hear it, when I first heard this, I thought this guy was fully sane and just kind of a hermit that lived on an island, right?
Yeah.
This guy had a family. He just upped and left his wife and found this island in the canals and right off of Mexico City.
Like how big was this island kind of?
It's
nothing too large, right?
No, it's not a big island. Like you got to think of kind of like Florida, how you have a
little small little.
Yeah, you have little islands here and there and you have water going through it and it's all separated and isolated. Same thing there. And it has trees and stuff, and so he went down to this island. And this is where it gets a little fuzzy. He went down there, and apparently he found this dead girl from the canal. Like, she drowned in the canal.
Gotcha.
And so he found that. I don't know if he reported it. I don't know what happened. It doesn't really say. It doesn't say, the police got involved or anything.
But it affected him. As it would have anybody,
yeah,
right?
So it affected him seeing this, and then right afterwards, a doll floated down the canal. And, kind of in that same area. So he took the doll. He hung it up in a tree to appease the little girl spirit or the girl spirit.
Right.
And he didn't think it was enough. So he started going through the trash. He started going through all the canals, all the debris, and he would find dolls. And it wouldn't just be full dolls. Some would be a leg. Some would be a torso. Some wouldn't have heads.
Yeah.
Like
some baby deteriorated. And,
yeah. So and I'm talking about just like your dumpster diving for dolls.
Yes.
And he would take it back to the island and hang it up in all the trees.
So he would go back in town, basically, not in just that area.
Yeah,
but he'd go
so
anywhere.
he would do
anywhere he could find a doll.
Anywhere he could find a doll, and he did this for, I think it was over
50
years.
Yeah.
And
no, he actually had did he build? I think he built like a little.
he built a house.
Like
He lived
yeah.
he lived in this island. He became
Gotcha.
a self-proclaimed caretaker of this island.
Gotcha.
And he started just hanging dolls up.
That was his whole purpose, basically.
Yeah. Now it's his whole purpose was to make this spirit happy.
Right.
And they talked to his family and they go, he was a little off. Like something was like he had a mental breakdown, or he was just off, or
that he spent this much
he
time
wasn't right in the head.
Yeah.
And when they asked the family about the little girl, they completely say that they don't think he found a little girl.
Yeah. Okay.
They don't think that story's true.
Gotcha. That's just a story he had said.
That's the story he said. There's nothing backing that story up, period. It's
Really?
just his word.
Yeah.
And that he kind of just broke down, and this is his way of dealing with life.
Yeah.
And that he just, he bailed on his family, and he
Yeah.
did this. And it comes down to so he did this for like 50 years.
Yeah.
And then apparently he ended up drowning in the exact same spot he found the girl.
Really? Yeah.
And that's where they found him.
So you can still, I mean, that island still exists today.
So the island exists. Nothing's been touched.
you can still take tours down there, right?
It's
Tours go by.
huge tours.
Yeah,
Exactly.
so there's multiple tours that go by this island.
Yeah.
And people that go through the tours, they actually bring dolls and hang in the trees.
They had the collection.
Yeah.
Okay.
So to honor his spirit and,
Yes.
and honor the girl's spirit. And there's well over 1,000 dolls on this island now.
Oh yeah. There's tons of videos up there, guys. I put a few pictures and stuff, but then you can look over. It is really creepy looking.
fucking
If you don't
creepy.
like dolls, you are not gonna like that tour or whatever it was. So it makes me think now about that little girl dying. Like, and he could have been mentally unstable, or if he did find a dead girl, I'm thinking like he's the one that had issues that maybe he caused her death, and that's why he spent so much time.
You think he drowned a little girl?
Maybe. And maybe
Or-
that's why he felt so bad that he had to appease her spirit. Because, I mean, other than being mentally off, why would you go that long to do that unless you're punishing yourself for doing that?
Like
you
just
know?
a bad chain
Just
of events happened?
another thought I had about that, maybe going on it. Then again, his story about finding a girl is probably not, like you said, like, feels it's probably didn't
The
think we found
family thinks
anybody.
it's bullshit.
Yeah, we just think he's just off and he just had a mental breakdown, basically, and this is what his way to deal with stuff.
You know what? I could 100% see someone maybe he went on the island and she was swimming or something, and something bad happened, and
Yeah.
he ended up killing her.
And if it's well, depending on the time, year, and the how poor the part is, if someone had died and no one's reporting it, and who knew, and just he knew about it, you never know. You
they
never
said
know.
He
There was
could
no
have grabbed
report.
her and taken her to the
Yeah,
island
and then actually killed her or
made up a
over
story.
time felt so guilty, he killed himself in that exact same
Yeah,
spot.
exactly. After doing all that, and he just couldn't deal with it. Yeah, I mean that could be
50
another
years.
story. To me, that almost makes a little more sense that he is punishing himself
he
for the
died in
dolls.
2001, so
Yeah.
I mean,
It
so
was
he's been
fairly
doing
recent.
this since the 50s.
Yeah, it's a long way. But anyways,
60s, 50s.
you can go down to Mexico and you can visit that. I've seen videos of it and stuff, and we've seen other ghost, hunt investigators go on there. It's pretty creepy. It's a pretty cool looking place. So I mean, I don't know if I'd want to.
I don't know if I want to go there either. I don't like dolls looking at me like that.
Yeah, this one right here
don't
is
know.
fine enough. And she's not using
And
the
I
phone.
don't even like this one.
I think she's okay. All right, let's just jump into I'm going to do another one here, and this one's called Mandy. Now, I guess I'm noticing all the dolls that I do are all kind of like, other than shadow doll, kind of like baby dolls, basically. So, Mandy was made in Germany. They figured between the years of 1910 and 1920.
You notice that all these things are coming from Germany?
Yeah, the hell's Germany's pumping out some haunted dolls?
Yeah, but if you look at it, they're coming around Germany like World War I, World War II, with like a lot of heinous shit.
there we
happened.
go. Yeah, exactly. That's
know?
true.
Holocaust. And
So this
a lot
was
of death.
donated to British Columbia and Canada and the Quiznos Museum in 1991. Okay, the original
Quizno?
not Quiznos.
Oh.
They don't give you a sandwich, which would be awesome, by the way. You get a haunted doll and you get a fresh sandwich. This is Quizno. I put it, the name and the
Okay.
picture of them. The original owner had found Mandy after hearing a baby crying from her basement. I guess she lived in this house. She heard crying and movement, and then she went down and she found this doll. And I put a picture of the doll, and the doll was not in good condition. It had one of those porcelain faces and was cracked and stuff. And again, it didn't look. You're finding that after hearing stuff would creep you the shit out, right? Other story says the donor had received the doll from her grandmother, which had been locked in her trunk for many years. And when her granddaughter had seen it and wanted to play with it, the grandmother, who had had issues with it, when she was younger, had locked it away, said, no, I'm getting rid of this thing because it used to freak me out and used to do stuff, so I'm giving it to the museum. So whatever story of the lady finding or something, it was already causing problems when they donated to this museum, basically. So Mandy showed up, and there's another one of those places where they left it up, in the museum. They just kind of left it out because they didn't think anything of it until stuff started happening. Stuff would go missing. Their lunches from their refrigerator would go missing, and they would find it later on.
That's a dickhead doll.
Yeah, like it's stuffed into a drawer. They would hear footsteps. No one was there. So after a while, they started putting her in her own permanent glass case to try to keep her, contained. Again, it was nothing malicious, but just like mischievous stuff going on. Rumor has it that she couldn't be around other dolls because she would harm them. Whatever she would do, she would tear them up or something, or
Could you see the
arms
doll
out. I know.
punching another doll?
This is my territory, bitch. So then when they put her in a separate room by herself, they gave her her own little lamb toy. So if you go see her nowadays, she has a little, like a stuffed lamb doll that she has. And I'll put a picture. You can see she's holding it. She would also mess with electrical items, making them malfunction. So sometimes people go take photos if they have like digital cameras that go out. They make the lights kind of flicker and stuff. Visitors who come here, they claim she makes them sad or uneasy. Some say her eyes follow around. But I think a lot of those dolls, even pictures, I can see how that a lot of stuff looks like it does that, just the way that the eyes are made. She has been heard to be tapping on her glass. When the museum people are tapping glass, they go and check on her. They say that her hand is actually lying on the glass at the time. When you see the photo, she's sitting up straight. So that's kind of a feat if her hand's up against the glass. That means she's leaning forward. At nighttime, when the place is closed down and staff members are in the back doing paperwork or something, they'll hear stuff at night, and sometimes they'll get her. They'll bring her over to where they're at, sit on the lap while they do the work, and she calms down like a real kid that's acting up because you're not noticing it, basically. And then she'll start coming down. Again, they say that she's not evil or sinister, just like a wanting attention, like a child feels upset when they're getting. They say that some people say that she gives evil looks. I'm like, well, what kid doesn't, basically?
I'm not gonna lie, this doll looks like it's been through life.
Yeah, yes. So you see a photo, see a photo of that. Yeah, exactly.
It's
not
got
great.
a scar
It's
over
been
the
beat up.
eye.
Exactly.
Like it's been in war.
She became
them other dolls put up a fight.
Yeah, they did, exactly. Yeah, no, she went down swinging. So she got kind of famous enough that she was on Montel Williams' show in 1999, and they had a medium on there who was reading the doll, said Mandy belonged to twins who had polio and died with the doll in the possession. And the mother's
both twins
grief,
got polio?
Both twins got polio, I guess. I don't know. And the mother's grief of the twins' death basically had helped imprint the doll with the kid's spirit, supposedly. So it's not exactly the kid's spirit, but just the grief and the kids, it kind of gave life to the dolls.
I was about to say, if you had two kids, how can two kids take over
So
spirit?
that's what it didn't say. It didn't say it was actual kids, but it just kind of imprinted it like...
So do you think like the grief of the mom put the energy into the doll that she missed?
Basically
the
is what they're saying. Yeah, basically is what they're saying. So Mandy, like Robert, doesn't like being videotaped or photographed unless you ask. And she's been known to touch people's hair and mess with people too. Now, I did watch a video of people coming to visit, like amateur paranormal people. They didn't find anything, but when you... girl sits down, and granted it's YouTube, you can affect it, but the girl initially sits down and they're setting up, and she's looking at the doll, and she's beginning to talk. You see her hair kind of push back a little bit, which was, and the rest of the video, there was nothing. Nothing happened. They talked to it, and it was kind of
just
hokey.
the hair.
But it was very beginning, but no, it didn't look like, it was very weird. I can send you the video, but if I can have a gif of it, and it's weird because her hair just kind of moves slightly, and I was like, oh, well, that's okay. So it's something like that. So it, again, Mandy is not malicious or hateful, but
unless you're a doll,
unless you're another doll, don't be looking. I'll show the face, and she's been through Fight Club, Fight Club, and she don't talk about it exactly. But yeah, so she likes to mess with people, and as far as not videotaping, I didn't get exactly what she would do if you videotape her without it. She would probably just, I don't know. A lot of these dolls just come in your dreams and mess with you and stuff like that.
Or she'll come and beat your dolls up.
Yeah, she'll come and beat your dolls up.
You never know.
Your dolls better run. Your dolls run. All right,
so Laura, you had like a top 5 list, didn't you?
Well, there was moving dolls top 5.
Okay, let's hear about it. Yeah.
Well, hang on, that's over here. So my favorites were actually the number 5 and the number 1. And Clyde the Clown is...
Oh, fuck that.
So, I mean, how subtle and how creepy just the movement of this doll. I mean, yes, I'm sure with CGs, whatnot, this is.
But if it's real, it is creepy as shit, right?
And then, yeah, you would think if it was CG that you would have done something more than what it did.
Right.
But apparently at 3:03, which I find to be
The witching hour.
well, and just the number 3 is very spiritual in
There we
itself.
go. Yes.
It is the witching hour, and at 3:03 exactly. In this video, they set the camera up all night, and at 3:03, the doll, well, the clown, lifts his head up really slow.
Yeah.
And then over the like the next few minutes, it's like, oh, I'm not interested anymore, and it just puts its head back down. Like,
that is creepy. The slow thing is
and
really
the look that it had, it was just like, oh my god, it feels like it's like alive. It didn't feel like a doll during this moment when I watched it. Now maybe I should have gotten more sleep, but
That's okay.
staying up too late watching this stuff. And then the number 1 doll was the 100-year-old doll, which I found very, very creepy and unbelievable. It was almost too much, like I said, with CG and whatnot.
Yeah.
But there was a nighttime video, approximately the same witching hour time, and then a daytime. They were like, okay, if it wasn't creepy enough for you at night, here's it doing it during the day.
Great. Yeah.
And it's definitely worth viewing.
Yeah.
I don't know if you plan on putting it on here or
Yeah,
not,
we
or
can post it
or
up there.
just
Yeah.
direct
Do you remember the
them.
name of that, or if not?
Yeah, it's the Nukes top 5 moving dolls.
Nukes top 5 movie dolls. Okay, yeah, I'll put a link to it so people can check it out. But so yeah, that's creepy as shit. What other ones?
Well, like 4, 3, and 2. There were 2 composition dolls, which is what dolls used to be before in the before 1900.
Gotcha. And what's composition?
It's a sawdust and glue. Now they're all plastic.
Gotcha. Okay.
So
Makes sense.
they age really poorly. Like they look like they're aging like human beings age through time.
Right. Yes.
And there was 2 dolls, and both just the arm just slightly would just move.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't anything extreme. Creepy, yes.
Right.
If it's real, it's still creepy. But there was also one that, what do they call that? The cup stacking the kids do, or
Yeah. Oh, whatever it is.
the real quick, like,
Yeah.
So they were filming this girl, and this was number 4. It's called the Curious Doll, and the video was not intended to be haunted, creepy, anything.
It was just showing her skills because a lot of kids will do that. And
And this doll wasn't even a creepy looking doll, and on this top shelf, like way tucked back, when she started to do her really fast cupping, slowly, just like curiously.
Kind of like look like it's looking at it. What is she doing?
It's like it's flat, and then it just leans up and like peers
like it wants to see what she's doing, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Talented.
It was.
She's like, I can do better.
He's like,
Wow.
oh, that's impressive.
Well, that's exactly.
Oh man.
Well, that's pretty good. So Nukes top 5. I'll put a link on that. You guys can see it. That's pretty good.
cool.
Yeah, I'd like to see that. I'd like to check it out.
And then there was the cursed doll that some jealous lady gave a pregnant woman that,
That's just fucked up.
right?
Yeah.
So her firstborn son died, and then the girl, the next time she got pregnant, it was a girl, and she lived.
Yeah.
Then the next generation, same thing, firstborn son.
Yeah.
All with this doll.
They noticed that. Yeah, they noticed the pattern. Like this doll was kind of.
And it continues to, I don't know, to this date, but it made it seem like every generation experiences the
Whoever
boy
had it,
dying
yeah.
first, and then the
Okay.
girl living, like, so it could continue
It's
on.
messed up. Yeah, exactly. That's not good.
The doll's name was Joliet.
Joliet. Okay. And this is not just haunted. It's like haunted and cursed at the same time. Yeah, exactly.
But it
Which
was-
is kind of
Okay,
one
so
of
is
the
it like
things.
the doll that cursed them, or is it the people that are like that bloodline's cursed? Because that sounds like if each person in that family's losing people like that.
I just know it was transferred through a doll. That's
Yeah,
all.
it didn't start till the doll got there.
You
basically.
would think.
Yeah, right. You just
Hear
get
me
rid of
out
it.
here.
Yeah, yeah.
You would think if this happened to 2 women,
Right.
and like the doll's around. Maybe some guy goes, "Hey, the next time we have a child, that doll's not going to be here."
Right.
And like you like, let's just see.
Let's just find out.
Let's just see if this is like true
wow,
or
I
not.
can't live.
Well, and after the baby would
shit.
die, they would hear the crying of the deceased baby throughout.
Yeah, see, no.
I think they did try to get rid of it, didn't they? And then whoever else got it, same thing would happen to them or something? Maybe
I
not.
don't think that they kept it, but I think the curse continued.
Yeah, whoever else
fucked up.
grabbed it. Yeah, so I mean, again, and people are like, why didn't you destroy it? A lot of these things. So it's weird. So some of these dolls that they say should be destroyed, the people who have it don't feel compelled to. They feel compelled to keep it, almost because they know it might be, or they think that something might be living in it. And wait, pause. You want to?
No, I got dog issues. Sorry.
Yeah. Or pause.
No, I was gonna say you can keep going.
Okay. You got doggy issues right now.
And
that way.
I don't know if you wanted me to still touch on it, but the voodoo zombie doll that she tried to get rid of it.
Yeah.
And so she bought it off of eBay, which I know you wanted to kind of
That's fine.
speak
No, we're good.
briefly
Yeah.
about that. And what came with a note that said, "Don't let it out of the box." Well,
She
what
let it
did
out
she
of the
do?
box,
She
yeah.
let it out of the box.
Don't let it out of the box. Well, put it out of the box and see what happens.
So it started to haunt her in different similar ways of the dreams and the crying of the baby and
Right.
the moving of positions and whatnot. So she decides that she wants to sell it on eBay to get rid of it. And she boxed it up herself and sent it in the mail. And
jeez.
when it arrived at the new owner's home, the person opened it up and there was no doll inside. And then when she went out, it was sitting, the doll by itself, no box, nothing, was sitting on her front porch.
Doll's like, you trying to get rid of me, huh?
Yeah, I'd kick that thing.
So then she ended up giving it to a ghost hunter, I guess.
And then he took it, yeah.
I don't know what happened to it after that, but that was the end of the story.
You know what? If that thing showed up, if I tried to get rid of it and it showed up on my thing, I would go to the neighbor I didn't like.
Here you go.
And I'd throw that bitch in his backyard.
And it would end up on your pillow.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I was thinking about the person who ordered off eBay, like, what the fuck? They just sent me an empty box, man. I hope he got his money back. Or their money back. I don't know why I'm worried about the person that didn't get the doll.
Oh, dude.
I think he got gypped. Like, god dang it.
Well, that's actually a good little segue because, like, we got into dolls on eBay.
Yeah, I started looking up. I was watching something, hearing something about haunted dolls on eBay, and so we both kind of.
Well, if you want to sell a haunted doll, you do it on eBay.
On eBay, so looked on there, and it was. I don't know what to think. There was just so much stuff out there. So, our thoughts about it. I mean, I'm thinking just about every doll on there on eBay. It's just for well, so I went into one of the descriptions one, just say that I picked one just to look at it, and obviously they're all pre-owned. And I started laughing about that. I'm like, you don't want to go any brand new haunted dolls. They got to be
Brand
pre-owned.
new.
Right. So going on there, the people in the description like, oh, I love my haunted doll. This is great. I would buy from you again. The other person, oh, I got my haunted doll. I'm like, wait, how many haunted dolls does this person have? They're handing them out like candy going here. So if you're really looking for a haunted doll, eBay is not the place I want to go. Why you really want a haunted doll? That's up to you.
Well, look, if you're like looking for like something to just put in the house and creep people out,
Right.
they had some creepy good ones.
Yeah.
But you're not getting a real haunted doll.
No, and then that's what I think it's my problem with. They're saying haunted. If you say haunted dolls, I think you really think you're getting a haunted doll.
If you really think that, you're an idiot.
Right. Oh, I agree.
Like, I feel like you stumble across a haunted doll in ways you don't want it. Like, you went into a thrift shop and you're like,
Yes.
oh, that kind of weird
That's
thing
from what you
looking
found,
at me,
or you
and
found in the
I think
basement
I'll
of
take it
a
home.
house. Yeah.
Or you're in the woods and you see a doll with nails in it. And your brilliant idea is,
the hell alone.
let's take it home.
Right.
You know,
Right. That's
haunted shit.
But no, not saying you can't. So there are a couple stories about the people buying haunted dolls off eBay. So that's another part of it. What if you're buying a haunted doll knowing it's not haunted off of eBay, you just wanted something creepy looking, and it actually ends up being haunted, which is something
That's
you
what I
didn't
was
want.
gonna say.
Right. So it's also dangerous that way. You're like, well, I didn't really want a real haunted doll. I just wanted a doll, a fun haunted doll, basically. So
Just a Halloween.
right.
decoration.
So if you're
Or
really,
what if you like someone's selling haunted dolls and they're doing like either witchcraft to them or
curse them.
this is like a
Yeah.
way to curse people without them knowing they're getting cursed.
and they don't care who they're cursing, they're just random people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that'd be messed up.
Well, what about that harmless Elmo?
Yeah, you were telling us about that. You gotta
yeah.
I mean, come on,
please.
Elmo. It's Elmo. You got
Tell us about the haunted Elmo one.
So I don't know what year they came out with Elmo, the Know Your Name doll.
Yes.
And
I
I'm
don't
sure
know.
if it's and
I'm Elmo. Yeah.
Elmo has been huge was huge for a minute. And
Right.
Sure, it still is.
You couldn't find a doll during Christmas time if you wanted it.
Yeah.
But I guess you told the doll the name of the child, and it would include your name in different sentences, is what I gathered. I don't have children. I've never had an Elmo.
Hi, Laura. I'm Elmo. Kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yes,
Right, okay,
yes.
gotcha. Yes.
So in Lithia, Florida, this was on the news, and they had a video of Elmo saying to the child's name is James, it says, "Kill James."
That's messed.
So I guess
Damn it, Elmo.
Oh, so no, Elmo Know Your Name came out in 2005.
Okay.
You're right.
Okay.
So it was saying, "Kill Jam." That's mean to a kid.
And this is on the news in
yeah,
Florida.
I think I remember seeing this.
The Elmo Knows Your Name doll recently ran out of batteries. His mother, Melissa, put new ones in.
Kill James.
What was that?
Kill James.
This is kind of weird because like I don't know if that has anything to do with why, but they discontinued it the year later.
Maybe
Came out in 2005.
Maybe
They discontinued in 2006.
maybe.
disgruntled employee decided
disgruntled
to...
Elmo. Yeah, disgruntled Elmo. Don't piss off Elmo. So
They told him to take the batteries out, and it still, I guess, was still saying
evil batteries is what is going
Fuck
on.
that.
It's those so you stay away from those Duracells. They're evil.
That bunny, man.
So they replaced the battery. It still say the same thing, right? And
Yeah.
So they end up.
They replaced it with a different Elmo, and
This Elmo's
that
not
was
as
the
angry?
end of the news segment. But yeah,
Oh man, that'd be funny as hell though.
but I can't tell if it was saying that once the batteries were removed, it was still speaking or not.
Yeah,
Probably. I mean, just to make that story better.
I couldn't tell. I couldn't tell. Yeah.
Elmo, you
just
got
a
some
re-
aggression issues,
Yeah.
buddy.
I just don't like Timmy. Okay.
Oh, okay. I mean, it's not funny because I'm sure that's creepy
No,
as
that's
shit,
fucking
but it's just funny when
hilarious.
you think of Elmo and tell him they kill somebody.
Can you imagine being the parent of that? Like, and you're like, buy the kid. And, oh, he's gonna love this, and like, you guys are all sitting around.
Kill
and it goes,
James.
Kill James. You're like, what the fuck?
What the hell?
Where is that coming
Damn it, Elmo.
from?
Yeah, exactly. Parents are looking at each other. What'd you do? I didn't do
man.
anything. What'd you do? That's funny.
It's interesting that they discontinued the doll, though.
A year later.
Yeah.
So I wonder if they're having like
It's-
Chucky problems with it.
Not good for your Elmo doll to tell them they're going to be killing the kids. And it kind of
Yeah.
puts a dent in sales a little bit. Just to,
I'm gonna stab
I'm
you,
not a marketing
Bethany.
person, exactly, but I would imagine that would kill sales a little bit.
Elmo loves you. I'm
What do
gonna
you
stab
think?
you.
Sorry, Ada. Hey, so guys, any other stories for any of it? I think we had like a lot of the guys. There are a ton of other dolls you could hit out there. You could do another maybe 2 or 3 episodes of haunted dolls and stuff out there. There's a lot of good stories. What are our personal thoughts and opinions of haunted dolls? What do we think ourselves about them?
Well, you want me to go?
Yeah, go ahead and go. What do you think, John?
You know what? After reading the psychology of it,
Yeah.
that makes more sense to me than actually having something haunted.
Okay.
And I think that people, you can manifest things coming around the house
Yeah.
more. Like your mind will play more tricks on you than you want it to.
When you're looking
And-
for it, you're going to find it.
And then you
basically.
blame something else, like because like your mind's crazy.
Yeah.
And most people, like if you go out in the dark and you want to see shadows, if you think you're gonna see it, you're gonna see it.
Yeah.
And the paranoia will get you. And I think hearing scuffles or feet and all that, maybe they got a big ass rat or a cat
Or pipe. Yeah, exactly.
or a-
maybe.
Or a bat.
Yeah.
something,
or a bat, or a
something's in
rat.
the attic, and
Yeah.
they're kind of blaming the doll. I think the Annabelle thing, I think that story might have got blown out of proportion a little bit.
Right.
The Robert doll just looks creepy as fuck to me. And I think people, like, if you had something bad happen to you and you're like, well, I was fucking with this doll,
Yeah.
and you're gonna just blame the doll instead
You're
of your
associated with the
actions or
doll.
something.
Yeah,
I
can see that. Yeah.
But it doesn't, like, the thing I think that gets me is I always try to say, how would I do that if I was trying to pull a hoax?
Yeah,
So-
no.
so-
So we do the exact same thing, yeah.
So I feel like there's certain instances, now there's no proof, obviously,
Right.
for the child's voice going into a full man's
Right.
lower deep.
Yeah.
And lifting objects that are too heavy for the child to
That's
lift.
unexplainable.
Right.
Those are the stories that are like, ooh, it makes my
Or a
hair
Kiku.
stand up.
Yeah, Kiku
the
gets me too.
hair,
Yeah,
like-
but
Exactly.
those aren't nefarious though.
Right.
Like you look at those stories. I mean, like the one where the thing's getting flipped. Yeah. The Okiku is just like, how are we explaining the hair growing? Like this makes no sense that this doll is doing. Like that is a whole different can of worms to me.
Yeah.
But the people saying, oh, like the Letta doll, where it's like you got scuff marks on your shit, and like,
Yeah.
I like that one. I'm like, are these two brothers just fucking with each other constantly? And like,
There's so many more explanations it could be than just automatically going to
and like if you make a like almost an ambiance, like, hey, you know, I have a haunted doll, and when people come over there and you kind of like fuck with them, and
you can make them manifest
you have like,
that.
you have a presence of like when you walk in the house, you're like, ooh, there's a haunted doll in here. Like what are we gonna see? Like that I get. The Annabelle one was like where the thing's growling at him, and like, why would you put up with that much shit of a little like why?
Right.
If a grown ass person was doing that, you kick them the fuck out your house.
Right.
Or like weird things would happen in your house. Either you would move or you would get rid of something that you think is associated with it.
Well, I feel like being a female and being told by a medium that this is a child that is just desperate for attention and love, and knowing that, being told that, and thinking that it's not dangerous.
Yeah.
And you feel guilty.
Yeah.
Like you're a bad human being for not
abandoning a child, basically.
Yeah. The spirit is just wanting love and attention.
Right.
And she was a nurse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like
and it was also given to her from her mother. Like, there's a lot of like different avenues you could go down.
Well, yeah. So for me, and just sticking with the Annabelle story, and again, we're really going to do the Warrens episode.
We will, because I
don't want to drive too much into it, but at this point, anything the Warrens claim, I am not believing. I mean, and I don't want to get into it here, but I think a lot of the stuff they have, and they're just trying to sell stuff, you know, and that's nothing wrong with that. So anything, from what I got, basically all the stories about Annabelle are because of what Ed and Lorraine Warren
came out with.
Basically, Ed Warren at that time came out and had said. So none of this can be kind of fact checked. Like, no one knew who these nurses were. The priest that never talked about the exorcism they tried to put on it. From what I understand, the church were keeping contact with Ed and Lorraine, who are self-proclaimed demonologists. But they went with them because they were promoting Christianity and the religion and stuff, and that's why the church was like, okay, well, they're promoting what we want,
free
basically.
Promotion,
right. So anything, and this is just for Annabelle's story, guys. You know, anything that the Warrens kind of have their hands in, I'm very leery about believing, because most of the stuff they have been on there for me, from what my experience and what I've read into and looked into, is just not true. They were to me were charlatans. Now, Robert the doll, I have more belief into than Annabelle, but I think with Robert the doll, and the stories about him growing up and stuff going up, unfortunately, they're just stories. They're not something that we can go and actually look like. Something that was on the news, you know, like the Elmo one. You saw it on the news. It was kind of not that it says it's true or not.
No, but it's like it got traction.
Right, it got traction. But you do hear stories with the museum, which I don't know, the museum has its own things going on, but it is enough where you put enough belief into Robert and not taking a picture and something bad happens, that it's going to come true, whether it resorts to the doll or you putting too much belief into it where you're finding a reason for stuff to happen. Still doesn't make it not true, basically. I don't know if that makes sense.
You know what Robert reminds me of?
What?
When you go to Hawaii, they tell you do not take the rocks from Hawaii.
Right, exactly.
Bad shit happens to you. The spirits of the islands. Right. And people bring the fucking rocks
Bring the rocks
back.
And bad stuff. And I think that's kind of the same thing as
they end up mailing them back.
Yeah.
Whether you believe it or not, the people that bad stuff happens to, they believe it, and that's what counts. You know, it's your own belief into that stuff. So some of these other dolls, like the Mandy and the Peggy doll, I think the same thing. It goes to them. Could the stories be true? I mean, sure. Why not? I mean, stuff goes on. All ourselves have had weird stuff happen to us we can't explain, and weird things. So it's hard for me to sit there and say, well, that's bullshit. And experience stuff like not taking pictures and bad stuff happening. Again, are you looking for something for a reason why your car didn't start? Are you looking for a reason because you had a divorce?
Why you had an accident?
Right, exactly. Stuff happens all the time. But I mean, if it's from this doll, possibly. I don't know. You know, it's who's for me to say. It's everybody's own belief on that. I will say I do believe in the Okiku ones. I do believe there are haunted dolls out there, but I think they're very rare. So most of the stories of all these dolls out there are more about people's beliefs, like Robert and Peggy and stuff. But stuff like Okiku is hard to understand with the hair growing. And the only reason why I would believe those people, it's a temple. They're not really highlighting it. They don't want people to come in, and they don't want to put pictures of it, you know. So it's stuff like that makes me think, like, okay, there could be something there, because these people are not trying to make a living off of this. This is just happening, and they happen to have it, and we know about it. That's why stuff on eBay that hey, buy $200, buy $100. I was like, no, thank you. I don't think that's going to happen. Again, I can't. I mean, could there be $100 on eBay? Sure, there could. But I think the $100.
Like
where you see thousands of them, right? Could 1 in a million, because I mean it's like a hunting and stuff. It's not supposed to be commonplace. It's kind of a rare occurrence. So if that happens, sure. And that's my take. Again, I don't like to call them, other than the Warren stuff, like the Shadow Doll and Annabelle. If Warrens have their hands on it, I always look at it a little bit like,
I say
don't
the
know
same thing
about
with
that.
Zach Bagans too.
I'm unfortunate with Zach Bagans too. He's kind of in the same ilk, and he knew Lorraine Warren. I think he had some exactly. So who's to say like, well, this is what you do? I mean, it's a business for him. He's trying to sell stuff, and it gives you a fright. Sure, it's just like selling a horror movie or something. There's nothing wrong with it, but I wouldn't take it to heart that stuff is all true. Again, other than saying that, I do believe there's haunted stuff out there, be dolls or places and stuff. I don't think it's as commonplace, and I think unfortunately people try to capitalize a little bit too much on it. Unfortunately, again, I always say if we can stop putting out a bunch of fake stuff, the real stuff that comes out would be really fucking creepy.
Yeah.
Right. That's just my 2 cents on it. Laura, what do you think, buddy?
I think I should go visit the Clown Motel.
Yeah.
That might be that might be a good one for us all to go visit.
Oh my God.
And then report back on what we
How
found.
did I get roped
I
into this?
did visit the Stanley Hotel.
Oh, how was that?
I
That's
didn't
very
stay
nice.
overnight. I wish I would have stayed. And you can either choose a non-haunted room.
Yeah. Oh, I want the
Or they
haunted
don't
one.
call that on the
Yeah.
website, but
Yes.
I forget what they actually described it. But then, or you pay extra to stay in the haunted, and this hotel burned down.
Right.
It's only 3 hours away.
It's beautiful.
I heard it's real nice. Yeah. Yeah, it's really
It's
cool.
beautiful. And then
Oh, it's beautiful sunset.
this elk came. I mean, this is completely off topic, but out of nowhere from the back of the hotel, like where the grounds are, like where people or guests are staying, this huge elk walks out.
I was like,
Not
like
even
nothing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
It's
so
like, hey guys, what's going on? I'm
I
like,
feel
what
like
the hell?
there is some,
Those things are big,
some
right?
unexplainable
giant.
things that do happen in this
Yeah.
world. So could a doll be haunted?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm willing to think about it. I'd like to try to prove that it's not.
Right, debunk it.
I'm always
Right.
trying to find out how somebody's fooling me. And
As you should, as we all should. We should be very skeptical of everything, and it's just not bad to be skeptical. Just,
Yeah.
You don't want to be gullible to anything that you're going to put down $1,000 because you think something's haunted, and it's just a bunch of bullshit. Yes.
But it also makes when you find something real, like it makes
that
it
much
that
realer.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah, that much.
I agree,
you know.
and that's where we kind of lay out right there. But cool. Anything else to say, buddy?
I had a great time.
Oh, thank you for coming.
having
First
me.
time we had our guest for Laura. Good job, buddy. Guys, getting this out for Halloween. Hopefully everybody enjoyed that. Trevor, we got anything else going on besides, please, everybody like, subscribe, share out there.
No, I think that was about it.
All right. So to get hopefully you guys ever have again, it's going out before Halloween. Everybody have a good Halloween. I'm trying to get another one out there before we go, but hey, everybody, don't forget to say bye to Ada.
Baby Ada. Yeah.
Baby Ada, right? Again, look, if she moved it all and everything, I try not to.
Please
hit
let
anything.
us know.
Please let us know.
Because I didn't touch it at all.
Right. If she get one of her little baby hands and she's flipping you off or
I
something,
only
that's
paid
fine.
$300 on eBay for it. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, exactly.
If you want it for $500, contact
She's
Laura.
like,
Haunted doll.
Oh no, you didn't. Sorry. Okay, we're gonna get here, guys. Thanks everybody. Enjoy. I hope you enjoyed the episode. We'll see you next time. Bye,
Have a
everyone.
good one. Bye.